All right, hey everyone, welcome. My name is Eric Hund. I work for the NOAA Office for Coastal Management down in Charleston, South Carolina. My connection to North Carolina is I serve on the North Carolina Federal Interagency Coordination Committee. I'm going to talk about high resolution land cover. The title says the National High Resolution Land Cover. I will be talking more about our coastal focus, but it's coastal focus for most of the nation. All right, for years, since the early 2000s, our initial land cover mapping project was 30-meter land cover derived from Landsat satellite data. We were kind of the coastal extension of the NLCD. So the data that we mapped along the coast, we passed that to USGS. They added that into the NLCD product. Our classes, our color scheme is a little bit different from the NLCD classes, and they wrapped up some of our wetlands classes into other classes. But we've been doing that since the early 2000s. Our base product, we did every 5 years. We did 5-year updates to show change. We go back to 1996 up to 2016. In some geographies of the US, we go as far back as 1975 in some of the Great Lakes states. We would like to create a 2021 30-meter product, and that we will pass to USGS to be incorporated in NLCD. We hope to finish that product this year. Hope to finish it this year. Right, we've also been doing high resolution land cover mapping for about the last 10 years or so. We started in the Pacific Islands, so we done Hawaii, American Samoa, Guam, Northern Marianas Islands, as well as Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands. Most of the land cover that we did for the Pacific, the source we used was Worldview imagery, so it's a 2.4 meter resolution land cover. Recently, we've also created several other 1 meter high resolution products derived from NAIP imagery of a number of states in the Northeast, as well as several areas scattered around the country. So did I skip a slide? All right, with the advent of AI, machine learning, and deep learning, it's much easier to create high resolution land cover now than it was 10 years ago. With the advent of the Bipartisan Infrastructure Act and Great Lakes Restoration Institute funding, our plan is to have a 1 meter national build out of data using Ecopia or purchasing data from Ecopia. It's going to be based on NAIP imagery that was collected between 2019 and 2021. And the initial phase for most of the coast is we're going to create a 3 or 4 class land cover product. So it's going to be impervious surfaces, water, and canopy, but the canopy includes trees and shrub. This is a comparison slide between a 30-meter product and a 1 meter product. Obviously, you can see a lot more detail in a 1 meter product. 30-meter product, it was made to be used at a regional or national scale, maybe at a county scale if the county is a large county. Anything below that, small county, city, neighborhood, high resolution land cover is much more useful. There's a few differences between our 1 meter and our 30-meter product. 30-meter product, because of the large pixel size of the Landsat satellite, we had 3 developed categories. We had a high intensity, medium intensity, and low intensity. With our 1 meter product, we're just going to have one class, it'd be called impervious. And also with a 30-meter product, we've got evergreen forest, deciduous forest, and mixed forest. For a 1 meter product, that's all going to be wrapped up into a upland forest category. And if we have additional funding, we can expand that out later to evergreen and deciduous forest. Here's the land cover classes again for the high res. So we have 19 or 20 classes. Again, another comparison of the 30-meter to the 1 meter imagery. 1 meter imagery, you can clearly see the roads, building footprints. In urban areas, you can see a lot more forest canopy with the 1 meter resolution imaging than you can with a 30 meter resolution. We have also created high resolution land cover products of salt marshes for a couple of states in Rhode Island and New Hampshire. We partnered with them to identify or to map all of the wetland plant species in the salt marsh. But also, one of the advantages with high resolution land cover, when you collect imagery at low tide, you can map some of the pans and pools that are exposed at low tide that aren't visible at high tide. And with any land cover product, you could use the 1 meter land cover product to update other data sets. The image on the left is 1 meter land cover derived from 2017 NAPE imagery around New Orleans. It's showing the water is blue and the pink is salt marsh. The image on the right is National Wetland Inventory data. Now, if you look at the right-hand side of the NWI image, that data pretty much matches our 2017 derived land cover. So they probably created their NWI data around that time or updated around that time. If you look at the data on the left-hand side, there's kind of a vertical line going through the image. Their data set is probably older than 2017, so they could use the newer land cover to update the NWI data. We are creating 1 meter land cover in 3 phases. First phase, we're going to create an impervious canopy and water, so it's a 3-class land cover for CONUS, so those are the coastal states within CONUS. We're also going to have impervious canopy water with ice and snow for Alaska. And this is all being done by Ecopia, our initial products, our phase 1 products. And then we will be updating definitely Hawaii and Puerto Rico, hopefully the Virgin Islands, and some of the other islands in the Pacific later this year. All right, this map shows the footprints. The dark blue areas are all the areas that we want to create the initial 1 meter land cover product for. And Ecopia creates the 1 meter land cover extremely fast. I'm amazed at how fast they can create the data. And they've been delivering the 1 meter data for a number of geographies already. So the dark blue is our initial focus. The light blue states, we have buy-up options. So if a state wants to expand that land cover product and cover the full state, they can do it through our NOAA contracts. The areas in gray, see the area around the Chesapeake Bay states, that's 1 meter land cover that's created by the Chesapeake Bay Program Office. And then Vermont is actually not considered a coastal state because it doesn't connect to the ocean or the Great Lakes. But the University of Vermont is already creating their own 1 meter land cover product. So the areas in dark blue, those are funded by the Bipartisan Infrastructure Act money that we've received from NOAA. All right, these are the vendors that we are working with. Brandon mentioned these in his presentation. We are working through our prime contractors and funneling that money to Ecopia. So Ecopia is probably creating 95% of our initial product for us. Our phase 2 data products are where we take the 3-class 1 meter land cover and expand it out to a 20-class product. We are doing that in 4 pilot areas. So the Puget Sound, Washington, which is near Seattle, Tampa, Florida, Houston, Texas, and Maine. Those 4 pilot areas, we've had additional funds that were provided by state or local governments that we're using to fund the production of the 20-class land cover. Then our phase 3 is a land cover change. So we're still going to create land cover from states that we've already collected, and those are listed. We'll create the 2021 or 2020 land cover, determine the change areas, and produce a changed product. So let me show you some examples of what this land cover looks like. This is 1 meter impervious land cover on the right-hand side for Pinellas County, Florida, which is the St. Petersburg area. The image on the left is just the 2021 NAPE that it was derived from. There's water product on the right, NAPE on the left. So we took the initial 3, might have been 4 class product, and we're building it out. So the image on the right, that's our initial land cover class. That's about 10 different categories. So we've added, at this point, we've added in grass, pasture, agriculture, open space developed, which are yards, cemeteries, and parks. We've also added bare areas and what we call unconsolidated shore. So those are mud flats that are exposed at low tide, that are submerged at high tide. The only other thing to do here is to add in the wetlands. So we use Sergo soil data, we use the NWI wetlands and LiDAR elevations to try and add in the wetlands, which are an image on the left. The areas at the top of the image in kind of the orange and teal colors, so those are freshwater wetlands. And then the pinks and purples on the western part of the image, those are estuarine or saltwater wetlands. In Florida, there's tons of mangrove trees and shrubs all around the coast. So that's what our final product will look like, the one on the left. And that product will probably be released in the next couple of weeks. We're almost done. That's Pinellas County, but we're doing 6 counties around Tampa. Okay, so I just want to summarize what we're doing again, change the colors on the map on you a little bit. But the areas in light blue here, those are our 1 meter target or 1 meter land cover areas that we're initially going to be doing. And that should be all complete by late spring, early summer. The areas in kind of what I'm calling medium blue, those are phase 2 products, Tampa, Houston, Maine, Seattle. And the areas in dark blue are phase 3 products where we're going to produce land cover change. And that's probably going to be a little difficult for us because the methodology that was used to create land cover from 5 or 10 years ago is a lot different than what the methodology that's being used today. We've got coastal buy-up options for all the states in light gray. And really, I mean, if you lived in Oklahoma or Nebraska, you could also buy that up through our contract as well, or you could contact Ecopia directly. I think this is my last slide. So are there any questions? Doug? For the Kona states where we have the 1 meter products, those were created from NAPE. So we'll be using that as part of the change. For the Pacific Islands, that's where we're going to probably run into issues because we're using older Maxar imagery for that. Yes, sir.
How will you be packaging this up to make it available?
We will put it on a digital coast through our data access viewer. It'll be in the elevation portion of the data access viewer, and we'll serve it out that way. So you would download them as GeoTIFF images. No, you can download it by either state, if you go to our bulk download portion, or you can draw an AOI around the area and download it that way. Yes? So buy-up options, we would actually be working with Ecopia, I think, on the buy-up options for full states. We would probably have to request a quote from Ecopia. Yes, sir.
You're going to have the 4 classes, right? The 1 meter element. Are you going to identify like forests or canopy over impervious?
Yes, that's one of the classes, canopy over impervious. And that's kind of almost a double class because you can add that to the impervious for the total impervious, or you can add it to the canopy for the total canopy. Good question. Any other questions? None of the new products are available now, but the Tampa products will be available within 2 weeks. Yeah. So I'm the person responsible for putting that on the server, so I can't guarantee it'll be 2 weeks, but I'm hoping it will be 2 weeks. Any other questions? Thank you.